Nikhil, of course, what a match it has been. A comprehensive victory for India over Namibia and 2 out of 2 in the T20 World Cup.
Yeah, it's a great start. India have won both the games that they've played, but we mustn't also lose sight of the fact that both the games came up against teams that aren't permanent members, that aren't test-playing nations. Minnows is a word that I wouldn't like to use, but I'd say associate countries that, on paper at least, aren't really a match to a big side like India. So these two wins, you expected India to do it. Yet, of course, a lot of time you expect in sport, but you need to tick the box. So I'd say India have ticked both those boxes, and where they stand right now, top of the table, both India, Pakistan are tied on points, having won both their games. But India far ahead when it comes to the net run rate, because the win today, a comprehensive one at that, where they won by 93 runs, has really helped boost India's net run rate. So they sit pretty on top of the table. But I'd be lying if I don't concede that there are still a few areas that India would like to work on. See, they came into this T20 World Cup as the absolute favorite to win the title. And once a favorite then comes up against two much weaker teams like India did, you expected a completely one-sided contest. Yes, you've seen one against Namibia today. Of course, USA gave India a much closer fight. But yet you saw certain areas which in the last few months you did not see India falter at. For example, India's batting. If they would have a good start, they would continue with that sort of momentum till the 20 overs would be over. Now, in the two games that we've seen, they've had a few hiccups. They've had few moments in the game, or few phases in the game where they've lost a few wickets, and have certainly set the cat amongst the pigeons, and people or Indian fans have begun to worry, oh, what if they end up with a below par total? But somebody or the other has put his hand up and helped India out. Suryakumar Yadav did that in the first game. To an extent, Hardik Pandya did that today as well. But all the pieces of India's puzzle really haven't fallen into place. India's bowling as well, on occasion, has been expensive, like they were today to start off with. But then you've got a trump card, in fact, two trump cards now in Varun Chakravarti and Jasprit Bumrah. So you had to wait for them to really come into the attack after the power play that changed the game. And then India ended up winning so comfortably. But Namibia started off, like a house on fire. And it did seem like that they could challenge the total that India had set. So as I said, there are a few areas even now where India haven't really, been at their best, areas that they can improve. But as I said, with each game, they are looking much better. And now all the eyes are going to be in Colombo when India take on Pakistan on a Sunday. It's going to be a spin-friendly track. We've already started doing this man versus that man and those sort of comparisons. And I'm glad to note that despite not batting or not bowling at their absolute best, India is still going as the favorites even for that third match.
And what would you say about Ishan Kishan's performance?
Ishan Kishan was good. It's good to see him amongst the runs. In fact, dare I say, since the time he's been drafted into this Indian team, he got a lucky break to make it into the Indian team in the New Zealand series because Tilak was injured. And then such was his performance in that 5-match series that he actually, superseded someone who was already in the team in Sanju Samson. So he went ahead of Sanju Samson, and now we've reached a situation where Ishan Kishan has become your number one wicketkeeper batter, and no surprise there. He is, been the most informed batter in the last month or so, and it was good to see him after the not a great outing that he had in the first game. It's good to see that he's gotten runs here. You're going to need some runs from his bat come the Pakistan game. In fact, even Sanju Samson had a very brief stay today. He knows heart of heart that he's not now an automatic starter. Once Abhishek is fit, he will easily come back into the playing 11. But yet, 8 deliveries, 22 runs he gets at a strike rate of comfortably over 200. In fact, the best strike rate that you saw in this game. So on the face of it, it looks like a cameo, but it's that cameo that really set the tempo. And then a few hiccups in the middle. But what a masterclass of batting that we saw from Hardik Pandya. And I think that is what makes him such a big match winner. He realized that there was a bit of a hiccup. You had a very unorthodox spinner bowling for Namibia. It picked up a few wickets in the middle. Panic stations may have kicked into the Indian camp. And what did he come? He came and calmed the situation down, batted in
Right.
gear 3 or 4 to begin with, and then towards the end switched to gear 6 and finished it off in style.